Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Tim Gardner, and my pronouns are he, him, and I, along with our guest speaker, Ro Kelly, welcome you to Eliot Unitarian Universalist Chapel. We are in the midst of our summer lay-led services, and Ro is a member of Eliot Chapel who has volunteered to organize today's service. Ro chose the elements of the service, picked the hymns, wrote the message, and will deliver it to you today. Some of you may not know that Ro is a student at Starr King School for the Ministry, connected to UCal Berkeley in some sort of faction. Starr King is one of 3 UU seminaries, along with Meadville Lombard School, Theological School, associated with University of Chicago, and Harvard Divinity School somewhere out east. This cisgendered, straight, old, white guy is so excited for this very young, very queer thinker, writer, and beautiful soul to be embarking on this path. To have one... She did not have this part in the script. To have one of our own begin seminary, especially while still being here with us, learning mostly remotely, brings this congregation both a privilege and a responsibility to nourish her and support her along her journey. I look forward to her message today. Also joining us for pastoral care is Carl Serbell, standing here. Please see Carl after the service. If something is weighing on your heart, he will be just inside the doors into Adams Hall. If you have young children staying with you during the service and they start getting restless, you are welcome to take them into Adams Hall through these doors or around the back, where there is a live feed of the service, and they can run all they want. Parents and guardians, there are snacks for the kids after service in Adams Hall. A special welcome to our guests. Thank you for sharing your Sunday with us. Our welcome person is Yvonne Serbell. The Serbells are doing double dipping here. Yvonne is out in the narthex waving. If there is anything you might need. There are paper guest forms at both entrances to the sanctuary and a digital one using the QR code in your order of service as well as on the screen. Please fill one of those out so we can stay in touch with you. And please join us for coffee hour right after the service in Adams Hall, again through these doors. When you get there, please take a blue cup so we know you are new. And if you are a member or friend, please look for the blue cups and be sure to personally welcome our guests. We also have an online coffee hour at 1:30 for our folks joining us online. One final reminder, as noted in your order of service, next Sunday, September 7, is our in-gathering service, marking our return to 2 services at 9:45 and 11:15, 9:45 and 11:15, and a full slate of church activities. Now I invite you, as you wish, to join us in our welcome today by responding with, "You are welcome here," at the end of each statement. If you are Black, brown, white, Indigenous, Asian, American, Pacific Islander, whatever your origins, you are welcome here. If you are an immigrant, a refugee, or a person without documentation, you are welcome here. If you believe in God all of the time, some of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. No matter whom you love or what your gender identity, you are welcome here. If you have a disability, visible or invisible, or are neurodivergent, you are welcome here. If you want for nothing or struggle each day to make it through, you are welcome here. If you have been here 100 times, or today is the first time, you are welcome here. For this is a community of diversity, of love, and of justice, and it is good to be together. Let us enter into the spirit of worship. Our symbol in Unitarian Universalism is the flaming chalice, with the bowl representing beloved community and the flame representing the spark of the divine that burns in each of us. Our chalice lighting words this morning come to us from Katie Savani Gelfand, Wiccan priestess and director of religious exploration at First UU Church of New Orleans. We light this chalice as a symbol of reunion. We reunite in this sanctuary to share the flow of our hearts with one another. We gather together in ritual to celebrate our fountains of joy, to hold each other through storms of grief, to guide one another through the rapids of transformation, to rest together on ponds of stillness. Together we honor the spirit of water in its many forms and its life-giving essence. Please rise in body or in spirit for our opening hymn, number 100 in your gray hymnal, I've Got Peace Like a River, and remain standing for our congregational covenant. Hymn number 100.
I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've
In Unitarian Universalism, covenants are the sacred promises we make for how we want to be with each other and how we want to make love real. Please join me in speaking our congregational covenant. As a free congregation, we promise to one another our mutual trust and support. To create beloved community, we promise to be kinder to each other than we have to be, to listen fully to one another with an open mind and heart, to speak responsibly and respectfully, and to find ways to improve our church for all members and friends. Please be seated. Each week, we share our offertory with a community organization that reflects our values and commitment to service. This week, we are sharing our plate with Action STL's Tornado Response. Action STL's People Response has provided tornado relief for North City residents, mostly Black St. Louisans, since the day of the tornado, May 16. And they continue to provide donations of food, building materials, tarps, baby formulas, diapers, cleaning products, and more to anyone affected by the tornado. As we prepare to give, we welcome the presence of our children in the sanctuary. Together, young and old, we practice generosity, knowing our gifts create ripples of love and care in our community. Let us give joyfully. You are welcome to donate through the pass basket or through the QR code on your order of service or on the screen, or text the words Eliot and shared plate, which is one word, plus the amount you wish to give to 73256. A link in the reply text will take you to our secure platform where you can complete your transaction. Eliot, shared plate, 73256. Let us be a generous people. Please join me in blessing our offering to the work of the church, which is weaving the tapestry of love and action in our lives, and these are offerings. Please.
for the wisdom story. So if there are any little ones or any young at heart adults, thank you, Tim, that would like to come on down to the front. Just like one, yeah. I saw Calix spell earlier. I don't know if he's okay. All right, Calix. You were close enough, Lynn? That's perfect. Let me scoot a little closer. Okay. Hi, Calix. Hi, friend. Good morning. You can come sit right by me. Hi. Friends, good morning, good morning. Come on down. All righty. So we have a little story this morning, and then we're going to do a little activity together. Okay? And the activity is going to make the story kind of come to life, but we're all going to do it together. Okay, so the little story first. It's just called Little Drop. Once, high up in the clouds, a little drop of water waited. She was small, round, and full of questions. The other drops around her were excited, but Little Drop, she was nervous. The storm is coming, the other drops cheered. We'll water the forests and fill the rivers. We'll cool the earth and clean the air. But Little Drop wasn't sure. I'm just one tiny drop, she said. What difference can I make in such a big storm? The older drops smiled gently. Come with us, they said. You'll see. And so, not fully understanding her part in this storm, Little Drop let go of her cloud, and she fell through the sky with a million other drops. When they landed on earth, some of the raindrops fed thirsty flowers. Some filled the rivers for the fish, and others just washed dirt from the cars and the roads. But what about Little Drop? She landed right on a human child's nose. That child had just fallen and was crying, but now she laughed out loud and whispered, "Thank you, Raindrop." She wiped away her tears and kept on smiling. And just like that, Little Drop knew she didn't have to do everything. She just had to do her part. And her part made someone smile. That was enough. That was everything. Okay, so I think now is the time that we're going to pretend to be little raindrops. Okay? Everybody. So, yeah, we're all going to pretend to be little drops, okay? So you're going to follow along with me. Yes, we're all going to pretend to be those. So, we're going to make a rainstorm in here, and we're each going to be a raindrop. So you're going to follow along with me what I'm going to do with my hands and my feet, okay? And it's going to sound like a rainstorm is happening in here. So, grown-ups, first I'm going to have the little ones do it, and then if we can do the first row, then the second row, and kind of create a ripple, okay? So if I go like this, first row, can you stick your arm out this way? And then ripple, so the people in the back will be patient because it's going to keep going, right?
Don't hit someone.
Yeah, don't hit. We're not swinging, but I'm just saying, if I went like this, it would be first row, second row, and then if I went like this, Okay, so it's not that hard, but okay. So we're going to pretend to be raindrops, and we're going to make a big rainstorm in here, okay? First thing, can you go like this with your hands? Right, it's just starting. It's not a big storm yet. It's just starting to sprinkle, right? What if we went like this? Kind of sounds like storms in here. How about like this? Maybe a little louder. Maybe if we can we add our feet in there? All right, let's slow it back down. Let's do just our hands. And just little drops again. Thank you so much, little raindrops. We did it. All right. All right, and we will sing you back to your seats because we don't have recess today. But thank you so much, everybody.
Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
Okay, my beloveds, I invite you now into a time of quiet meditation and connection with the sources of life. Whether your spiritual tradition or personal path, no matter what it is, know that you are invited to bring your whole authentic self into this space. As you wish and as you do, please take a minute to ground in the present moment, in this space, in this seat, in this body. You are here now, every drop of you. And I invite you to take 3 deep grounding breaths, in and out, in and out, in and out. And now that you feel grounded and centered, please feel free to join me in this time of prayer, meditation, or reflection with the words from Reverend Maureen Killeran's prayer titled, For Each and Every Drop. We forget sometimes in the rush of the world that our lives are made up of small acts, single drops in a vast ocean. Let us give thanks for the single raindrop that waters the seed, for the single kind word that softens the day. May we never believe that our drops do not matter. May we remember every drop counts. Amen and blessed be. And let us now enter into a time of silence for the prayers and meditations of our own hearts. And let us speak the names of those that we would hold in care. Amen and blessed be. Please remain seated for our meditative hymn number 1023, Building Bridges.
We're going to sing this as a round. First, we're going to sing it once all together, and then this side of the church is going to follow me, and this side of the church can follow Julia, and then as a round, we're going to sing it twice over. Get it? Everybody get it? All right. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make
Our reading this morning is an excerpt from Braiding Sweetgrass by Native American scientist, author, poet, and spiritual leader Robin Wall Kimmerer. The most important thing each of us can know is our unique gift and how to use it in the world. Individuality is cherished because only if we have something to give are we capable of mutuality. And just as all beings have a duty to the whole has a duty to each individual. This is the meaning of the honorable harvest. All flourishing is mutual. A leaf, a drop, a person, none lives alone. Reciprocity is the thread that stitches us into creation. This ends the reading.
Thank you, Charlotte. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Labor Day weekend. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ro Kelly, and I have been a member of Eliot Chapel since January 2022. I am a part of the liturgy team and the worship team. I serve as co-leadership for the Spark group, and I will be one of the facilitators for the Teen Owl program that's starting next spring. So I was not in this year's So You Think You Can Preach cohort, but when Reverend Krista asked if I would like to deliver a message this summer, I said yes. Because honestly, I saw a TikTok about that rainstorm thing, and I thought it was the coolest thing, and I had to show you all. So, okay, that's not the full truth. I also said yes because, as Tim said, I recently answered the call to pursue a master's in divinity from Starr King School for the Ministry. And classes start in 2 days. So for me, answering the call to be a theologian and a UU minister means telling the truth about love, even when it's sticky. So, see, for me, as a young queer kid raised in a busy Catholic family, love used to be something that I waited for, longed for, something I found to be rare, policed, and given sparingly. However, through years of reading, researching, and living out UU values, I have now found that none of that is the truth about love. Love isn't mine or yours. It's not for some, but not for others. It's a universal presence that's shared with and among us from within each other. It's like that darn TikTok rainstorm thing. And yes, honestly, that TikTok did inspire me. And watching it come to life here with all of you was even more moving. There were some people who followed the instructions perfectly, and some folks, danced to the beat of their own drum. Some folks were loud, some were quiet, some hands were soft, some were rough. Some folks who couldn't physically clap or stomp their feet improvised to make noises in other ways that their own bodies permitted. And it all came together in a perfectly imperfect symphony of us. This is what inspires my message, my truth about love today. Because my hope is that we can all see the storm through the raindrops and the raindrops through the storm. I am you, you are me, and we are love. So I called my message today, The Ocean in a Drop, Reclaiming Sacred Worth in a Throwaway World. That first part comes, of course, from a slice of a poem by the Sufi poet Rumi that famously says, "You are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop." But this morning, I invite us to consider the paradoxical idea that we are all drops and we are all the ocean. Yes, we are all universes unto ourselves, and the ocean wouldn't be the same if even one drop of us was missing. We are each vast systems of experiences, knowledge, preferences, traumas, and joys, born with inherent dignity and worth. We are each the entire ocean, and we are also the drops. And by that, I mean we are individual waves, interconnected, interdependent, moved and pulled and shaped by each other. We are each different and on our own paths, but separateness is truly an illusion. But in such divisive and contentious times, it can be easy, even understandable, that the illusion of separateness can creep in. We start cutting people off, tightening our circles of concern, or focusing our love on some drops, our drops, and not other drops. While everyone around us is closing their gates and pulling up their drawbridges, it can be tempting to believe that this is just how it has to be in these divisive times, to hoard our love like bottled water in doomsday shelters. But I invite us to remember that although this thinking may be common and popular right now, it's not you thinking. This kind of rationing of love is a symptom of what queer sociologist and author Dean Spade calls disposability culture. And that disposability culture is where we throw each other away. We dispose of each other, like we do with everything under late-stage capitalism. Like a busted bra or an imperfect printer or a rusted-out roller skate, we throw each other away, often and easily, for not being good enough, not being helpful enough, not being perfect enough. We do this kind of throwing away instead of choosing paths of repair, grace, and love. But in these times and the times to come, we are going to have to find ways to be with everyone under enormous stress and in times of devastating strife and grief. When late-stage capitalism, war, genocide, famine are rampant in the world, we are actually being indoctrinated by this disposability culture to be competitive, individualistic, and hierarchical with each other and with our love. These values embedded in this other kind of culture, they train us to treat each other like disposable products, to demand perfection, immediacy, to value toxic individualism, and to compete with each other for what we can get at each other's expense. We, as a society, have been trained in a scarcity, punishment-centered culture, a culture that casts out people for doing or saying one wrong thing, a cancel culture, a culture that imprisons more human beings than any other country, a culture of fear and of us versus them. But we as UUs, we know the truth. We know these disposability scripts hide our reliance on one another. We know that the streets we drive on were built by someone other than us. We know that the health, communication, and comfort that we rely on technology and innovation that were made by minds that were way sharper than ours. We know that our kids and our elderly are cared for by hands that aren't ours. And we know that the trees that give us shade and oxygen were planted by people, animals, and winds we may never meet. We know we are all connected and bound together. And because we know the truth, we can't be static. We must be like water and fill the container of this historic moment by letting love fill in all the holes, crevices, and canyons left behind by fear and hate. And don't get me wrong, it's not normal. It's not popular to love like this, but that's dope. We aren't like everybody else. We are heretics, remember. And that word heretic actually comes from the Greek to choose. So we choose this faith. We choose its values. We choose to keep sacred our interconnectedness. And we choose to be in radical loving relationship with each other, even if it's hard, even if it's not popular, even if the world is burning. No drop left behind. And as our wisdom story showed us this morning, nature is a great teacher when it comes to lessons about interdependence. When we all pretended to be raindrops, I hope you could feel the interconnectedness of this room, the interdependence of each individual sets of hands, feet, and lips that it took to turn a chapel of individual raindrops into a collective rainstorm. And while it was a little razzle-dazzly, it was also the anchor of this whole service for me. Because the idea is, if it takes all of us to make the whole, and the whole is in all of us, then we all belong to this oneness and to each other. And as Robin Wall Kimmerer said in the reading this morning, all flourishing is mutual. A leaf, a drop, a person, none lives alone. But what about those drops that didn't follow the rules perfectly? What about the drops that stamped or clapped their hands out of beat? What about the drops that we don't agree with politically? Or the drops that aren't really good activists, helpers, neighbors, people at all? What about the drops we wish were not a part of our ocean? Do we have to love them too? Well, just a friendly you reminder. Yeah, we do. But the good news is that the love that our UU value of interdependence calls us to act on is not an emotional kind of love. We are not called to feel love, thankfully, because that seems like an impossible task. But rather, we are called to do love, to move how love makes us move, rather than how fear and hate can make us move. This UU love is action, not feeling. By performing loving actions, we do love. We do love because we behave in ways that recognize the value, dignity, and worth of every human, not just the ones that we feel an emotional love and affection for. So when we don't feel connection, we can act as if it's there, because it is. And often that alone begins to shift something. And examples of this kind of love aren't that hard to find when we look around. People do it, we do it all the time, even without consciously trying to choose love. I feel this kind of love when I'm driving and I hear an ambulance coming up behind me. And I can see in my rear view and in front of me that everybody's moving to the shoulder, collectively parting a sea of traffic for a stranger in need. Nobody had to feel love for that stranger. They just chose to act lovingly. Or when a devastating tornado hit St. Louis in May earlier this year, and hundreds of individuals, unsure of how to help alleviate the insurmountable need, just showed up to volunteer at the Y in North City with the Action STL's People's Response. I watched hundreds of strangers turn into human assembly lines, making care packages for strangers, and more humans turning into human conveyor belts, passing water hand by hand, gallon by gallon, from semi-trucks in the parking lot to the gym floor in the Y. I watched groups of people swarm cars of donations and unloaded them in 30 seconds to just keep the lines moving. A mass of disconnected individuals became an interconnected web of care, service, hope, and love. Not emotional love, action-oriented love. However, injured people in ambulances and tornado victims are easy to choose to love, right? Not every drop is that easy to love. And disposability culture, of course, wants us to be more exclusive with our loving actions. The powers that be want us to hoard our love for those who deserve it. But that word deserve is a trap, y'all. Deserve is just exclusivity in a prettier outfit. They slipped that word in your soul when you weren't looking. That person deserves love, deserves respect, deserves peace. Subconsciously, that word gives energy to belie that some people are outside the web of interconnectedness. Deserve is a gateway drug to accepting the unacceptable, that people are only worthy of love if they are perfect, if they are suffering, or if they are like us. And that's not you love. That's exclusivity, that is scarcity, that is disposability culture. No one needs to perform, prove, earn, convince, beg, or show a good resume for their inherent dignity and worth. You don't deserve rest, you require it. You don't deserve peace, you need it. And we don't deserve love, we are love. Because you love asks everything of us. And by everything, I mean that love doesn't consider the approval of your ego in its asking. It doesn't care who your individual raindrops' enemies are, or who your wounded ego or political comrades find deserving or lovable. But why? Why does you love mean that we have to love everybody when it isn't easy, comfortable, or even normal these days? Why do we do this? Does loving thy neighbor promise us heaven after we die? No. Enlightenment? No. A better karmic incarnation in some afterlife? No. Our you value of love doesn't rely on any promise of a future reward or salvation in an afterlife, because we believe our chance for salvation is in this life, here and now. You may have even heard the little one-liner by the famous UU Reverend Thomas Starr King that went, Universalists believe God is too good to damn people. Unitarians believe they are too good to be damned. Yes. But remember, this was a heretical idea back in the day, too. We don't focus our love on those who some God in the sky would damn or reward in an afterlife, because an afterlife doesn't matter to us. All that matters is here and now. That's why we do what we can to make this world a better place. That's why we move in ways that create beloved community. And that's why we choose to do love radically, because our salvation is here in this life, and it takes all of us to make it a reality. So when love feels hard to feel, try instead to practice taking loving action. Choose the person in front of you as your practice partner in curiosity, compassion, and grace. Even Dean Spade said, other people are not vending machines built to deliver the experiences and feelings we want. Instead, they are our practice partners for developing our capacities to feel, listen, and relate. And I would add, and love. So we can practice getting curious about the ways that trauma shapes people, how and why hurt people. We can pause our judgment and take a beat to consider how some people's attitudes and actions might be the results of forces, experiences, and suffering outside of their own control. To honor interdependence is to ask not just, what did you do, but what happened to you? This means when a teen steals your car, rather than immediately labeling them a thug or bad, you can ask, what's happening in their home life? Are they living in poverty? Do they have a parent or guardian who cherishes them? Or are there bigger unmet needs that led to this behavior? This doesn't mean that there are no consequences, but you take loving action when you try to understand someone who has harmed you or harmed someone else by being curious about how they might have been harmed by something too. And as the Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh said, love enables us to see things that cannot be seen without love. So we can stay curious, and we can practice compassion without necessarily agreeing. Harm can and does happen, right? But we can consciously choose compassion and choose to refuse to let hate define our actions and responses to other people's hate. For example, instead of going off on that racist internet troll and calling them every name in the book for insulting immigrants, you can just thumbs down the post and then write, your words cause real harm, but I believe you can grow, and I hope you will. that response gives you the space to feel rage and disgust and contempt, that's fine. But the choice to respond without that rage and disgust and contempt, the act of responding with compassion, without agreement, again, like your words cause harm, that's a reflection of your choice to show up in the world as a you. It means you're a human with feelings, but you're also a heretic you that makes choices beyond those feelings that are grounded in justice and interdependence. And we can also practice grace. Sometimes recognizing interdependence simply means choosing not to sever ties completely. It may mean not gossiping about someone you dislike, offering a moment of patience instead of reactivity, or accepting that none of us is perfectly living in line with our values and intentions at all times. We all F up. I forgot we had kids here. We all F up. Giving people grace not only combats the disposability culture of perfectionism, it gives the other person space to move towards alignment on their own, where true healing can begin. And when doing love, taking direct action with someone isn't safe for any reason, we can build our capacity for interdependent love by doing loving kindness meditations, by simply offering phrases like, "May you be free from suffering," towards people, even those we don't like, or by lighting a chalice and holding space for all people struggling with anger, fear, and shame, so they can heal their hearts and remember the illusion of separateness too. Because ultimately, the interdependent web doesn't mean liking and trusting everyone. It just means recognizing that our lives are entangled in economy, the climate, policy, community, and salvation. So may we move, as we move away from the summer and towards fall, towards a new school year, a new church year, may we refuse to let disposability culture exist unchecked in our souls. May we resist patterns of perfectionism, judgment, cancel culture, lack, and exclusivity. And instead, may we choose to be curious, compassionate, and offer grace. May we remember our UU value of interdependence, even when it's not the trend. And may we honor all people, yes, all people, because all of us have inherent dignity and worth. Because we are UUs, we are heretics, and we choose to be different. We choose to love even when it's sticky. And as Reverend Maureen Killeran said this morning, may we remember every drop counts. Thank you.
Before our last hymn, I have a few personal words. Reverend Barbara Gaydon, our newly elected minister emeritus, first expanded the role of the liturgist early in her time with us. Liturgists work with Reverend Krista and others to deliver the worship service and help this congregation strive toward beloved community. I've been privileged to serve as one of your liturgists for 12 years. It is time to step aside. I thank you for tolerating my flubs. I thank Reverend Krista for tolerating my off-script moments. I thank all for making this experience so deeply rewarding for me. Now let us rise in all the ways we do and join for our closing hymn, 1007 in your teal hymnal. There's a river flowing in my soul, hymn 1007. And standing as we close the service.
Thank you, Tim. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river
Let us now extinguish our chalice and share our benediction. And when we come to the phrase fire of commitment, I want to hear a little fire behind that word, fire. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
We will keep a place for you wherever you may go. We'll sustain this home of faith and love you've come to know. Go in peace, bring hope to hearts that yearn. We will keep a place for you till you return.
Till you return, may the Spirit of life hold you, may love bless you, and may joy find a place in your days. Go in peace.